which means he wants to commit crime freely with absolutely no consequences. So the one time, and you know what, here's the weird part. Okay, so let's balance it. Yes, Trump. And by the way, if you think, oh man, he's just talking. No, he's not. He did it.
No, he does it.
He fucking
carries
does
it
it.
out.
He did it every time.
Yes.
He has separated families on the border. We had camps. We had concentration camps.
That thing Stephen Miller's talking about doing at our border.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Put the military on the border, and no one will cross. We're going to put the U.S. military, which we can't, which legally is against the Constitution.
Yes, we're going to empower the National Guard to carry out immigration enforcement. We're going to deploy them to the border. We're going to deploy the U.S. military to the border. We're going to have camps down there where we send them while they await planes that fly them out if they get flown out, if they're not criminal. I don't know.
I'm sure they're going to get treated the best under the Trump administration.
Do you know what happened the last time people were put in camps? It's just really never worked out with hindsight.
Yeah, we have some examples where it didn't. I think going back to Egypt when they were building the pyramids with the. We all saw that movie.
What is the GOP? Why do they want us to go back to medieval Europe?
Yes.
With this?
Yes.
And they think they're all going to be like dukes and fucking earls.
100%.
And they're buying their way in.
Yes, the guy with the Silverado and the truck nuts believes he's going to be. I'm Duke of
Hazard.
Alabama. Yeah, I'm a Duke of Hazard. That's
I
nice. You
found
got
it.
it. You
I couldn't
fucking
believe it.
so fast. You got it so quick. I hate you. That was good. That was so good. I'm a Duke of Hazard.
It was Don Jr.
Don Jr.
Dude,
when you found that clip, so if you guys will look at last week's Armageddon Update, I point out that everybody who's high and does drugs should have their guns taken away.
Yes.
So, and we talked about it before. I said use Don Jr. and he was like, which is obvious, we're going to do that. And there's a picture of Don Jr. with guns, and then I don't know where you found that video because I've looked for videos, and Don Jr. high as shit.
Yes.
Goes, what did he say?
He said, well, I'm a Duke. I'm a Duke of Hazard.
I'm a Duke of Hazard, and
I'm a colonel in the Kentucky Confederate Army. Like,
no, but he doesn't even say it that. He's like, and I'm a colonel in the Kentucky Confederate Army. He's like,
and he's
where was he?
He's drunk as shit. Wherever he was doing an interview somewhere, but he was
he was doing his podcast.
It is the highest.
Boy, his lady friend has a podcast, Kimberly Guilfoyle, and we saw her today. He said she looks like a clown, and I said, no, she looks like Pennywise. You have to put a picture of her up. It is I've never.
Yeah, put a picture
Holy
today.
Merly.
Right.
Boy, does bitterness and evil change people's faces.
Doesn't
and old
it?
Gavin used to be married to her.
I said to Ray, I go, she used to be
hard to
kind of
forgive.
pretty. What? Like it's dark.
Yeah.
There's a darkness happening.
She's like a Disney villain.
Gavin's wife now calls herself the first partner of California, which I also have trouble forgiving.
Well, on this new show I'm writing, guys, we're going to be in Phoenix this week at the Tempe Improv, and we're doing CB Live. It's not called CB
It's
Live
not
anymore.
called CB Live now. It's called
like Improv
Desert
North.
Ridge Improv.
Desert Ridge Improv. So we're
I was
doing
like,
that's
Desert,
Thursday.
is that right?
It's Thursday. We're leaving Wednesday night. But I want you to know that we are going to be there doing the new show. So I'm breaking in the new material, and there's a whole bit about. I'm kind of going both sides on it. Like, so the Puritans started this country. The Puritans.
Yeah.
Well, the more you read about the Puritans, I realize this country was started by assholes. Like, these people were not. If you didn't pray the way they told you to, if you didn't read the Bible the way they told you to, if you didn't worship the way they told you to, they could decide to hang you.
They thought England at the time with the kings was too constricting.
Yeah.
So they wanted to come here.
You guys aren't conservative enough. We're coming here, and we're going to start people where we can whip them randomly. And by the way, I have to give Ray and my son Jet for both coming out of just convincing me to do a bit that is.
He did not write that.
He didn't
I
write
wrote
it.
it,
He didn't
and
write
he
it. You
didn't
just
think it
mentioned
would
it.
work.
You
So
didn't write it.
I called Jet because Jet is doing comedy now, and he watches a lot of comedy, and he has kind of my dumb sensibility about comedy.
He is a little abstract in his comedy. Yes, I would
And
say that.
So I pitched it to him on speaker, and he lost it. And then he goes, fine. If you both laugh that hard at it, then I'll try it. And it killed. And then I was in the green room like, ha ha.
And then I added my own.
Of course. Now take credit for it.
No, if we had to compare ideas,
Give it to him.
So basically, so what happened was the Quakers. The reason Robert Titus, the original, my 10th grandfather, got kicked out of the Massachusetts colony was because and by the way, I totally get that. Don't you get that?
Yes.
Like, there's like 1,000 people on the planet, and they're like, "You guys get the fuck out."
Yeah.
Like, we're the Tituses. Yeah, we know. Get out. And I'm like, yeah, I'm related to those people.
I've seen your show. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I know who these people are. So what happened was, so the Quakers came into town. The Puritans hated the Quakers because they were the Crips and the Bloods of the 1600s. And what happened is that the Quakers believed that you worship God wherever you are. You can just worship God. You didn't have to go to church. You didn't have to do it a certain way. As long as you believed in God and you respected the Lord, you were fine. Well, the Puritans were like, oh no, you do not. These butter churn up the butt Puritans. What they did was, they said these Quakers have to leave. And they fined them. Well, one of the girls, 3 of the girls actually decided to protest and got naked and walked through the middle of town during the day. And the Tituses were like, hello.
Yeah, not the best protest, ladies.
That is not a protest.
Ray used to do this.
That is
I
welcome.
used to do a bit about women. I don't know if some of you guys used to see me when I was horrible, but
It's a great bit, though.
the protests, I should bring that back at some point about how
In the 60s.
the worst protest, women took off their bras to protest, to make a point, and then I act out the women jumping up and down.
Around the bonfires and going, and men were like, yeah, this is
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Why don't you
whatever
just
you
sit
want.
down?
But it
Woo.
turned a lot of men to help the feminist movement. It really did. And also dropped boobs over the years to waist level. But so they walked
Grandma
through town.
takes offense. At
So
that.
they walked through town, and so what the Puritans did was they arrested them, got them. They then strapped them to a wagon, and now they were naked. That's why they got in trouble. Then they stripped them to the waist, strapped them to a wagon, and made them walk 80 miles. And every time they get to a new town, they would whip them. Ah! And that's how the Puritans invented the first car horn.
Hey!
And then I added, ah! On your left.
And it
Seems
turns
like
into
it's stupid.
Auga.
Yeah.
It turns into
Ow! Oh!
me me.
Yeah, and that became. And by the way,
And it became
Yeah,
and also
exactly.
that's also where the people in those towns that heard the whipping and the screaming flipped people off because they
Oh,
heard the horn. They were like,
yeah.
ah! Mm.
That's where the Tituses learned it.